In this video, I'm going to discuss the top 6 reasons why American comfort is so dangerous. I came across a quote earlier this week that said, "A man who fears from suffering is already suffering from what he fears." And this perfectly describes why American comfort is so deadly. We are taught to avoid the struggle, the problem, the challenges, and the adversities that enter into our life, but it is these exact things that mold us into the person, the leaders, the people that we're called to be. So instead of facing these fears head on, we want to constantly live in comfort. And by living in comfort, we're constantly living in a state of fear. But I'm here to tell you, there's another way. Reason number 1, the struggle is the gift. Consider it pure joy, my friends, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. This is one of my favorite Bible verses because it's taught me how to change my perspective and how I approach adversity. I used to really focus on the problem, and when I did that, I made the problem or the issue or the challenge exponentially larger. Now, though, I look at every adversity, challenge, and a problem that comes into my life as an opportunity. It's an opportunity to grow, to become more skilled, to strengthen a relationship, to turn these problems that might be viewed as negatives into positives. And when you have this approach, it allows you to really become unstoppable because it doesn't matter what comes into my life, I'm going to use it for my benefit and for my good. And by having this unique perspective, it also allows me to be thankful and live from a place of gratitude because even when challenges and adversities come into my life, I can be thankful that they are. I know that they're going to make me more mature, more complete, more responsible, and just allow me to become the person I'm called to be and make me a more whole individual. When we start viewing our problems as blessings instead of looking at them as just problems, I promise you, your world is going to change. Reason number 2, living life inside your comfort zone. When you constantly live your life inside your comfort zone, what you're really saying is that you're just not challenging yourself in any way. We want every part of our life to be climate controlled, from the time that we get up into the morning to when we step into our car, when we enter the coffee shop to get our morning coffee. We want every part of our life to be as comfortable as possible all the time. And we don't want to be inconvenienced, and we want what we want now. The only way to grow, though, is to get out of your comfort zone. Because when you get out of your comfort zone, that's when you learn and develop new skills. Now, let me share a personal story of what I'm talking about. I recently got back into running earlier this year, and I set a goal at the beginning of the year to be running 140 miles by the month of July. And at the time, 6 months ago, I was only running a couple of times a week and very short distances. And the thought of trying to run 140 miles just 6 months later seemed very challenging, and it got me out of my comfort zone. But by doing that, it committed me and it gave me another layer of discipline. The only way that I was going to achieve that is if I started running every single day. Well, as we just wrapped up July, I can say that I hit my goal. I ran 150 miles this past month, even though my goal was 140 miles. And by hitting that goal, it's something that I'm very proud of. It brought me a lot of fulfillment, even though along the way it was very uncomfortable at times. To hit my goal, I had to be committed. I had to develop discipline. I had to create a routine of when I was going to run. And what's great about this is that when we develop these habits, these positive behaviors in one area of our life, we can often translate them and apply them to other areas. So learn to get out of your comfort zone with the mindset of this is an opportunity to start developing new skills, and then you can apply those skills to every other area of your life. Reason number 3, live hard so life can be easy. In America, we are taught that we can have whatever we want whenever we want it. And that's how most Americans live. Did you know that over 79% of Americans in 2024 live paycheck to paycheck? This isn't an income problem, and this is the message that always gets lost. Even though 79% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, it's not about a lack of income most of the time. It's because they have overburdened and overleveraged themselves with things that they want. They're basing their purchases and the things they want off of their emotions. And a huge majority of Americans have outstanding student loans, auto loans, a significant amount of credit card debt. And it's these very things that we desire that have total control and power over us. When you live easy and you're constantly saying yes to everything that you want and you're letting your emotions dictate your decisions and your judgments, What you're really doing is giving your power and your freedom away. And when you have no power and you have no freedom, life becomes very hard. Sure, the typical American probably has a really nice car, but there's also most of the time a really high payment that comes with that. The credit card debt that they have is keeping them from leaving their job, and they're staying at a job that they probably don't enjoy. Americans who live like this have a very hard existence because they're constantly living from a place of stress and demand. But when you learn to live this way, when you learn to live hard, life actually becomes so much easier. Life becomes so much easier and you aren't overburdened, and you can live from a place of abundance and creativity and focus on the person that you're called to be every day. Now, even though your every day is gonna have discipline, commitments, you're gonna make sacrifices, you'll find that that freedom makes life so much easier. Reason number 4, not challenging yourself physically. Did you know that 73.6% of adult Americans are considered overweight? And according to the CDC, 41.6% of Americans are obese. Now, in the US, not only do we not challenge ourselves in all these other areas, we don't also challenge ourselves physically because we want to stay comfortable. And working out, going for a run, developing yourself is very uncomfortable. But if you aren't physically fit, you're not gonna have energy. You're not gonna have a sharp mind. You're not gonna have the desire to learn more, to do more. Now, let me share another personal story. When my kids were born around 15 years ago, as I was transitioning into fatherhood, I stopped doing a lot of the things that brought me fulfillment. I stopped going to the gym. I stopped working out. I wasn't challenging myself with my career. On the weekends, a lot of times I felt exhausted, so I spend a lot of my weekends just watching sports or vegging out in front of the TV. But what really happened though is that I stopped developing myself physically. And because I stopped doing that physically, I also stopped developing myself mentally, spiritually, and in all these other areas of my life. So it's something that we have to be aware of. And in hindsight, I didn't know how much being physically fit, working out, how much value that brought me. When you get used to doing things that are hard physically, you can translate those into other areas of your life. Reason number 5, not having a financial vision. Now, the United States economy, we are a consumer-driven economy. We don't teach financial literacy, we don't value money management, and we place our priorities on things that we own rather than being responsible with money. Have you ever met someone who has the nice car, the nice house, they have nice clothes, all of their accessories are of the finest quality. They have so many things, at the same time they have so little. They don't have time to spend with their family, to meet up with friends. They're not generous. They can't give back. And a lot of times they can't do these things because they are stuck. They have to exchange all of their time to pay for these things, and there is no time for anything else. And so they don't really own their things. These things own them. Now, money really isn't gonna buy happiness and bring you fulfillment, but it is gonna make things a lot easier. When you face problems or when problems enter into your life, you're gonna be able to find solutions to those problems much, much easier, and it's gonna take up less of your headspace, less energy, and there's gonna be so much less stress. I've always said that when you have financial problems, and I've been there, it can impact every other area of your life. When there's no financial peace, it's like a burden that is always there. It's there when you're sleeping, when you get up. There can be tension with your spouse. It's there when you're at your kid's baseball game. It's always hovering over you. When you have financial peace, there's so much more freedom, and it makes finding solutions to problems a lot easier. Reason number 6, needing the best of everything. Now, I have a friend of mine who grew up and she always had the best of everything. Even as little kids, her parents taught her that she needed the best and she deserved the best. And so she had the nicest clothes, the nicest sports equipment. She drove around in the nicest car in high school. And this toxic mindset of always needing the best, now that she's an adult, she's carried on into adulthood. She doesn't want to make sacrifices. And the challenges are, now that she is an adult, she can't go into that first home because that first home needs to be her dream home. She doesn't want to have a car that isn't the nicest. She needs the best of everything still right now. And by always needing the best of everything, she has placed invisible chains on herself, and she lives in an invisible financial prison. She doesn't have any freedom, and she's so concerned and obsessed about having the best, and also is so overly concerned about the opinion of others. When you stop caring about what other people think and start doing things that align with your financial plan, life is gonna be so much better. When you learn how to pay yourself first, when you learn how to save and invest 20% of your pay, when you always pay yourself first, you'll never be broke. When you have a financial plan and financial goals, life will be so much easier. In summary, the American comfort that we desire is also the American comfort that is gonna hold us back, that is gonna make us undisciplined, is the same comfort that is not gonna allow us to stand up to our fears and kill our dreams. Challenge yourself in every area of your life. Start looking at your problems and your adversities as opportunities and blessings, and you can live from a place of gratitude. Allow yourself the privilege of being uncomfortable. In fact, get comfortable being uncomfortable. You can live comfortably or you can change the world, but you can't do both. This is Ben Adams with American Money 101.